Many of us may feel stuck right now. I know I do. Many corporations may feel stuck in division, stuck in uncertainty, stuck in not knowing how to move forward after moments that shake us. And it's so tempting, right? It's so tempting to just move on with business as usual. But given my background in behavioral science and philosophy, I feel a deep responsibility to pause and help us navigate the days ahead, not just as individuals, but as organizations and communities. Here's why. When we face a tragedy or emotionally charged event, our natural tendency is towards something psychologists call belief polarization, all right? And so instead of coming together, groups often pull further apart. The same event can harden two people's convictions in opposite directions. Psychologists have shown that when people surround themselves with like-minded voices after an emotional event, their positions don't soften, they actually grow more extreme. And so imagine when polarization takes root in a team. Colleagues stop seeing one another as people. It becomes us versus them. Trust erodes, and when trust erodes, collaboration turns into quiet disengagement. As a result, it makes less sense to me to focus on political standings and more sense to emphasize baseline humanity, something we can all agree carries value in and of itself. And so Aristotle taught that human flourishing comes from cultivating virtues, habits of character that allow us to live well together. Courage, compassion, justice, integrity, these aren't political ideals, they're the foundations of baseline humanity. St. Augustine adds perspective here. Writing in the City of God after Rome's fall, he reflected that Rome's greatness was never truly sustained by genuine virtue, but by power and ambition. And when power is the foundation, collapse is only a matter of time. C.S. Lewis carries the same vision forward in The Abolition of Man. He warned that when we do away with objective virtue, we start losing what it truly means to be human, and our moral compass begins to weaken. He describes this as becoming what he called men without chest, people who lose their moral center that connects the head and heart, leaving them unable to live as fully human. Now, if Lewis warns us what happens when virtue is lost, Buber helps us see how to restore it in the way we treat one another. That's where the late 19th century philosopher Martin Buber gives us language that's just as relevant today as it was nearly a century ago. He said there are two ways we can approach others: as an it or as a thou. Today we see the same dynamics in political, workplace, family, and community divides. An I-it mentality reduces people to categories like Republican, Democrat, employee, or manager. I-thou mindset, on the other hand, sees people as full human beings with dignity and depth. So imagine this. Instead of a polarized workplace where colleagues approach each other as an it, we had cultures of I-thou where people lead with virtue. And imagine too, if in your personal life you led with those same virtues. A conversation after a tragedy wouldn't begin with whose side are you on, but with what does compassion require of me? A disagreement wouldn't spiral into a contest of who's right and wrong, but it would be about what is justice and fairness. This shift is not just philosophical, it's practical. Teams that lead with baseline humanity build trust, leaders who anchor decisions in virtue strengthen culture, and individuals who ground their lives in virtue cultivate resilience, meaning, and character. And organizations that prioritize I-thou relationships over I-it transactions create environments where people actually flourish. So my challenge to you is this. If you're interested in coming together, if you want to bring people together, some people are not going to care, some people are not going to want to hear this, but put your political conversations on hold for a while. Polarization is happening anyway. We're talking to brick walls. Instead, have conversations about baseline humanity. I challenge every leader of every organization to lead with virtue-based conversations. And what you'll discover is a path forward together. And may God bless us. Peace.